All right, everybody, welcome. It's CMP Code Making Panel 10 game time today. All right, Steve, good morning. Good morning. I am officially on California time. I have been waking up like at 3:30 in the morning, but this morning I slept in. So, yep, it happened. I'm now on California time. So, a lot of discussions, I believe, code panel, let's just do this. Code panel 13 should be finishing today, I think. They should be finishing up this morning. They were supposed to finish up yesterday, and a contentious item came up about in Article 702 that I'm still struggling with. Some things came up that concern me a little bit. I'm sitting in the audience, right, just listening to the debate and discussions. But they were talking about having like not an energy storage system. These alternative energy solutions being a Article 702 system. The challenge I had, and I'm still struggling with, they said that, in 702 we have a requirement that if it's an automatic transfer switch, you have to do load shedding or whatnot because the generator has to be sized for the load. So they're introducing other solutions, which I still say it's out of scope, but they're trying to make changes in there to permit this. But in any case, we have the load shedding for when you're not there, and you have an automatic transfer switch, and then we say if you have a manual transfer switch, then you can make the decision to transfer and do your load shedding and things like that to make sure that it runs. So there was an individual who said, well, what we do and what you can do and really what's permitted by the code, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, is let's say that you have a PV system or whatever it is, energy storage system. And your system tells you that the power just went out of the house. And you're in, Timbuk 3. And you go, oh, I'm gonna switch over to my backup, and you press a button to switch over to the backup. And it's too much load for the backup system, so it shuts down. They're saying that's okay, and something doesn't smell right there to me. I mean, if I have to do load shedding and I have to shed loads on an automatic transfer switch in that application, why wouldn't I have to do the same thing? There's a level of expectation there that's just not going to be realized if there are too many loads. And hopefully you don't rely on it. So anyway, that was the discussion I just had. They're still arguing about it. And they're going to argue about it this morning. And I'm not going to be able to be there because panel 10 is meeting. And I have to go down in I have to leave here. So I just wanted to go live real quick. That was like, I think that little issue in Article 702 was the one that was most interesting, to me at least. And I figured I'd go live just to let you know about that. And I don't have time to go through the code stuff right now. But what we'll do is, hopefully I can get up early tomorrow morning. Otherwise, yeah, Steve, they don't have that for life safety systems. It's not. You can't. You can only use that in an Article 702, and it would be considered a manual transfer because you have to initiate it. So they wrote up some new language on the fly, and here's what happens. The language that was proposed in the comment phase did not work. It was not very well written. There were a lot of issues with it, and sometimes when you do things in a vacuum, anybody can end up with that. So it's no fault of the submitter. So they identified a bunch of issues, and then the submitter had some changes to it, and they said, well, it looks a little bit better, but then they still had concerns. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. That's going to be a very interesting discussion. Dan, for years we've run the backed up circuits to what we called the emergency panel and kept the circuits within the capacity of the backup source. You know, Dan, that's exactly right. But what they want to do today, they want to make the installation simple and as inexpensive as possible. But you don't get the value. I would say I say value, but you don't get you don't meet the expectations. You know, if I told you, hey, you know, it doesn't matter where you're at globally, I'm going to give you this alarm, and then you're going to be able to go to the backup system. If it doesn't, only if it can serve the loads, and it'll shut down automatically if it can't. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's not a code requirement. Maybe that's like, hey, you know, you get what you paid for, and you should have done some homework. But we're not, you know, the automatic transfer switch in the 702 went in because of all the storms that have gone through, and we had people that lost fish tanks, they lost freezers, they lost a lot of stuff, and it was proposed to panel 13, and they put it in. They recognized the remember the code is not just about protecting personnel; it's about protecting equipment too. It's in the scope. It's in the purpose of the code. It's not just there for personnel protection. So keep that in mind. Anyway, guys, I just did not want to boogie out and not at least go online and let you guys know. I woke up late this morning. I apologize. I've got to get back down to panel 10 and get my chair and all that jazz, get a coffee in me, because I'm tired, but I did sleep. And I think it's a bad thing, because now it's like, oh, man, I just don't want to go. Anyway, first day one of panel 10. Hey, good morning, Nihad. Good to see you too. Yeah, good. You know, it's Steve, you're right. The transformer KVAs are not required to support the load either. And we push those hard. We push transformers hard in many cases. But we have all these different rules around the largest overcurrent device you can put on the primary. That sort of is a limiter, if you ask me. You have the largest secondary overcurrent device. We have rules that limit how much energy you can pull through that thing. So, Dan, I appreciate the nice words. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. Nihad, thanks. We're gonna have some. I think I'm prepared. I went through all of the panel statements. I have all of my edits on panel statements, and there are some positions which there are some public comments I put in I knew are going to fail, but I'm looking for information in the panel statement because I need to understand some of those requirements, and some of those public comments were generated right from this channel. So I appreciate everybody out there for the dialogue on those sections and whatnot. So that's all 230 stuff primarily. All right, everybody, listen, I gotta go. I got people downstairs. I gotta find my seat. I don't even know what room we're in. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in every day these past 2 weeks. I do this because I think somebody out there gets something out of it. So thank you. And I have a scene in here that says, there it is. All right, I'm going to head out. Take care, stay safe, and please stay healthy.